Hello guys, how are you doing? I welcome you to this amazing episode on Truth Be Told podcast. Thank you for always showing up here. I really appreciate you. And if this is your first time, my name is Nicholas Williams and I welcome you to Truth Be Told podcast. So we always want to have you here, and just do yourself a big favor by subscribing. Click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell there so you can always see this podcast. And when you see our videos, do well to like, because it helps the algorithm to reach out to more people so they could get to see our content. So that's it on that. So today I'm going to be talking about something really amazing. Like I always say, something really explosive. I'm going to be giving you 5 best dating advice. And I know that you're going to need this. Why? So the first dating advice I have here is be yourself. Being yourself, right? So a lot of times, so many people get into a relationship and they begin to fake, probably because it's been a long time that they've always desired to get into one. So at the time that they get into one, eventually they begin to start faking who they are just to appear to that person that they are one certain picture, right? So they put out a kind of picture just to make the person feel like this is who I am. And sometimes it's even inconveniencing, right? It's inconveniencing. So you don't have to be somebody else just to keep somebody, right? Be yourself, and if the person is going to eventually be with you, trust me, they will, right? They will. So first thing first, if you're going to be in a relationship, a working relationship, you have to be yourself, because that is even going to help you know if that person is actually going to stay and love you for who you are, not for somebody else, right? Because eventually, probably you now get married to this person. You begin to show your true self, and when you show your true self, it's almost like late, and you don't want that, right? So be yourself. Be yourself. That's code number 1. So number 2 point is going to be, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time assuming that this relationship is going to work out, most especially if you can see obvious red flags but you got into it already. Don't assume that it's going to work, right? Don't assume that probably if you guys keep going the first year, second year and all of that, this thing is just going to be better and all of that. Once there's no change right from the beginning, or you guys are not getting into it with the right motives from the beginning, there's no change that will happen, right? Except you are going to be the ultimate changer, and you're not God. You're not God, right? So don't do that. Don't waste your time. Don't deceive yourself. Don't tell yourself that lie that we always do when we know that we are not doing the right thing. Don't tell yourself that lie. Try as much as possible to be sincere with yourself, especially when you don't even like the person. Because I've got to see scenarios whereby people just get into relationship maybe because of the title or maybe because of the benefits that you're getting from the person. So they decide that, okay, I'm going to stay because of this thing. And when those things go away, you start regretting. Or even if they don't go away, you're truly not happy in it. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to hurt yourself. Don't waste your time. So that's point number 2. And point number 3 is be direct. Be direct in all your dealing. When you're in a relationship, when you are dating, be direct. Don't move mago. Try to be direct. Don't try to hide things. Be straightforward as much as possible. Try to be direct so the person you are dating will know, or you also will know, if you both are on the same page, right? So you both know if you're on the same page and it's not just one-sided. Try to say those things that you want. Those things that are important, those things that are not working, try to always make sure you say it and don't keep it to yourself, because the more you keep it, the more you bottle it up, the day is going to explode. You won't even expect it yourself. And that is why some relationship end up crashing. Why? Because there's a lot of bottled feelings, because we are not being straightforward, right? We are trying to hide things. Right now, I'm not denying the fact of there's a proper way to communicate. Of course there is, but the main important thing is that make sure that even in your way of communication, whatever way you choose to communicate to your spouse, make sure that you are being straightforward and you're not passing through corners. You're eating the nail. What exactly do we want out of this relationship? What's the goal? Where are we heading to? Those questions are really important. Ask questions. They are very important. Today we have people who just want to go with the flow. And if you go with the flow, eventually you will fall inside the River Jordan. And you don't want that for yourself. Right? So be direct, be straightforward. So number 4 point is set boundaries. Set boundaries, enable to put boundaries in place, because it's more of like a principle in life. Whatever you set boundaries to, or you add principles to it, it progresses. So in that relationship, have do and don't. Those things that you do and those things that you know that it's a no-go area. For every relationship, dating relationship in particular, there are some boundaries that are to be lived by. For instance, now if you are a believer, you obviously know that you shouldn't have sex while you are still dating. You know that already, right? But if you don't put boundaries in place, you wouldn't do these things. You will overlook it. So make sure you set boundaries, so you won't get to flow into the river. Because if you don't set boundaries, you're going to dive into the River Jordan, right? And that's not going to be fresh. You're not going to like the results. Put principles in place. It will even help you guys respect each other better. It will help you guys respect whatever each of you says. Set boundaries. Set boundaries is one of the important dating advice I could give you. So the 5th point is focus on the positives. Focus on the positives rather than the negative side of relationship. Oftentimes, one of the things that I've realized is that so many people who end up having broken relationship are always focusing on the bad things people talk about relationship, right? So many people out there are always looking at, oh, relationship is a scam, oh, men are scum, oh, women are scum, and all of those crabs. You keep piling it up in your heart, and at the end of the day, they become a seed that germinates. And when they germinate, you leave the relationship. Why? Because you have stocked it in your heart over time. So what you need to do is begin to look at good love stories, right? Search for people who are doing this thing and they are doing it well, evidently, right? Don't replace it with those bad ones. Try to replace it with those bad ones. Place the good love stories there and see what will happen to your love life, right? Take off that negativity. It could even be your past experience. Take it off so it doesn't be the hindrance in the good relationship that you might be now, right? So take off all the negativity or whatever people say about the bad sides of relationship, right? Then focus on the positives. Focus on the positives. That even helps you. It helps you to see the true nature of how much you can love a person. It even makes the person to see if they can handle you enough. Because when you're yourself and you followed all this advice I've given you already, and then you balance it with focusing on the positive side. If the person is even a wrong person, the person will leave. Why? Because the person will be guilty, because you were yourself. Because you were focusing on the right things, the right examples. You were patient, you were kind, all of those things. You are not a fool for doing them. A time will come, if the person is not like that, the person will leave, and that's fine. And don't let that be a reason why you shouldn't do the right thing. So I think I have one more bonus point. Date intelligently. date intelligently. This is a priority. One of the things I love to say is date with your heart, love with your heart, but make use of your brain. Don't love with your brain. Do you get me? So always use your sense, be calculative, make use of all these principles I've given you, and do the right thing. I'm very sure it's going to work. I've seen it work in so many people. There are examples. There are people out there who are doing well with these right principles. I just had to bring out major principles that I know that works for you. If you do this, trust me, you're going to have a very awesome relationship after, to be honest. Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning into this again. I really appreciate. If it's your first time, don't forget, click on the subscribe button and also like this post so the algorithm can push it out to other people. Also share to a friend and drop a comment so I could know what you think about this. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Really appreciate. Blessings.